in defense of Hinduism. That was the topic I chose because I'm sure we all have been exposed to the various sampradayas in Hinduism. And if you take a look around, you will see that there are some sampradayas that will only worship Bhagwan Shri Krishna. Then there are some sampradayas that will only worship Bhagwan Shiva. And like that, you will find people who only worship Lord Ganesh. But if you look at Pujya Gurudev's style and Pujya Gurudev's teaching, you will see that he was a perfect representative of all the various types of worships, forms of worship that we know. And so he did not belong to any one sect of Hinduism per se, but he was a guardian of the whole gamut of things that we do in Hinduism. In our Jagadishwara temple, for instance, where Gurudev established way back in 1964, so there is Bhagwan Shiva, and just beside Bhagwan Shiva, there is Lord Krishna, and then there's Ganga Maya also, and so on. Just behind is the very famous Ganapati. And so you will see just from the way he adopted all parts of Hinduism, you can see that he is a natural guardian of the totality of Hinduism. So therefore, I said that Pujya Gurudev was always in defense of Hinduism. So this is from the very, what we call as outer levels, the superficial levels, you will see these things. But if you go deeper into his teaching, you will see again, like for instance, there are many people who, even though they may call themselves Hindus or they share things with Hindus, they will say, for instance, that there is no need to do puja to murtis. So murti puja is, repudiated, or murti puja is discouraged and all of that. But then again, you'll see that being a very integral part of Sanatana Dharma of Hinduism, you will see Gurudev not only encouraging, but making his students, brahmacharis like us, when we were studying, do that puja. So the certain aspects of Sanatana Dharma that people discard, Gurudev was making sure that he preserved every aspect of Sanatana Dharma. And there is also the whole idea of the caste system. And there are so many people in the in the world today. So these are things from within Hinduism itself. There are so many people who tell, no, all the caste system is a useless feature of Hinduism. Actually, it was inserted by this one and that one, and so many arguments people make. But you will see Gurudev defending the caste system very well, defending the puja to murtis and all of that very well, with sound philosophical knowledge. So these are things from within the Sanatana Dharma itself, which many people from Sanatana Dharma, they think that it is unnecessary, or they leave it out, and maybe it is not part of Sanatana Dharma, and so on. People talk like that. And both of these very important topics, Gurudev defended so very well. For example, Murti Puja and all the things that are associated with Murti Puja, he would tell very nicely that, oh, see, in a puja, the five senses get engaged And so there is the integration of the mind and the personality, because all the senses come together in the conducting of the puja. The eyes see the nice flowers and see the murti of Bhagwan, the nose smell the agarbatti, the tongue taste the prasad, the fingers feel the flowers and all of that, and the ears hear all the mantras and the bell and the shankha and all of the different things associated with the puja. You see, so when all the senses are brought together, it brings integration of mind. And here is a most wonderful inclusion of the puja and murti in through a philosophical understanding of what it delivers to the participant or to the practitioner. So from a very wonderful philosophical level, he'll defend all the practices of Sanatana Dharma, which many people might sometimes discard. And so also the caste system. He goes into a really wonderful dissertation in sociology to tell how the caste system is a perfect system. If it has become corrupted, it is not that the system is at fault, it is that corrupt people are at fault. You see? So he will tell, for instance, no society can function without the four castes. They're essential for any functioning society. And so he will demonstrate through appropriate examples and all of that. So caste system, which is there in Bhagavad Gita, for instance, Chaturvarnyam Yasrishtam Gunakarma Vibhagayo, Bhagavan tells Vibhagashaha, Bhagavan tells in Gita. So it is not that he wants to leave out anything of Hinduism and say that it does not belong. No, he finds the best philosophical defense of everything that we will find in Hinduism. So his life, one aspect of his life was to defend Sanatan Dharma. I prefer to use the word Sanatan Dharma when we use the word Hinduism. It has some foreign connotation and all that. So his life, one aspect of his life was to defend Sanatan Dharma and all the things contained within Sanatan Dharma. Nothing was left out. He found sound philosophical basis for everything and made a perfect defense from within Sanatan Dharma itself. We have, for instance, his other attempt to modernize Sanatan Dharma to meet the times, because the rishis, and he being a modern rishi, the rishis always tried to make Sanatan Dharma appealing to people in a specific desha kala paristhiti, specific time, space, and circumstances. Otherwise, Sanatan Dharma itself will become obsolete. And so, if it is not brought into the modern world, it will become outdated, obsolete, and it will wane and disappear, you see. So, he made such a great attempt to bring it into the modern world, to the modern intellect, to the modern educated person. And so in doing that, he protected it and helped to perpetuate Sanatan Dharma in that way. So this is his way of defending it. And therefore you'll see he spoke in English. He never gave lectures in any other language, because the British had brought English to Bharat, and the world itself, the whole world itself looks towards English. And so it is a way to get Sanatan Dharma to the English speaking world, and so aid in its perpetuation across the globe. And how wonderfully and how successfully that was done. Now Chinmay Mission is spreading this knowledge in English in so many countries across the globe. So like that, bringing Vedanta, bringing Sanatan Dharma, this aspect of Sanatan Dharma, of course, to the English-speaking world, and so helping to broaden its reach across the globe. The inclusion of women, it is the first sampradaya. It is the first sampradaya in Bharat who started training women also to go out and spread the knowledge of the Upanishads and the Vedas. You see? So, inclusion of women is a great boost to Sanatan Dharma in the world, and especially in Chinmay Mission. So now we see across the globe in Chinmay Mission, women making great contributions to uplift and to perpetuate this ancient Vedic tradition of Sanatan Dharma. So this was a revolution brought about by our Puja Gurudev in the early days. We still have one Swamini Amma who is around from the first batch of Gurudev's students. And so this was done from the inception itself to teach women, because they are such great contributors to the uplift of Sanatan Dharma. Then one very important method or means of propagating, perpetuating, spreading is to start Sandipani Sadhanalayas in various places. So we have here in Trinidad, for instance, we have in South Africa, we have in Vedanta courses being done in the West also in Krishnalaya, and of course in across Bharat in different languages. So to start these training centers for future sannyasis and pracharaks and those who will take Sanatan Dharma to the world. This type of visionary contribution of Puja Gurudev is what is now bearing fruit across the whole globe. There are Swamis and Brahmacharis posted in 30 countries, only because Puja Gurudev had this vision of protecting Sanatan Dharma by teaching it properly to people who are young and who are educated, because the ones who are young and educated are the ones who form proper vessels for taking this valuable product. His view was, if you're going to take a valuable product, you have to find a proper vessel to take it. You cannot put gasoline in a plastic bag, in a shopping bag that you have, and take it around. You need a really good vessel to take gasoline. So in the same way, this very ancient and potent knowledge of the rishis could only be taken by a person who is properly trained, who is educated and properly trained, because grasping it itself is a big task. And so Puja Gurudev made great effort in attracting young educated people to receive this knowledge and become exemplars of the teaching. And so when they themselves become exemplars of the teaching, then they can take it to others. So in this way, his entire life, if you look at all of these issues which I am raising, you will see that his life was nothing but to protect, to perpetuate, to spread, to give a far reach to Sanatan Dharma across the whole globe. You see, one of the more important aspects of his modernization of Sanatan Dharma is the whole yajna, which we are all so familiar with today across the world. When Puja Gurudev started off in the early days, you will see, if you look at you read or you look at some of the earlier videos or you read some of the earlier literature, you will see that he came from Himalayas with the permission of his guru and he started his yajna in Pune. And in those days, what was known as a yajna was a fire sacrifice, and also, but of course, that was the outer form. And also, the duration used to be very long, like 100 days and all that kind of thing. And so he also got into that. It is said that at one time he did a yajna for 100 days. So what we are seeing today in a 7-day discourse series or 7-day yajna and all of that, that was all introduced by Puja Gurudev way back in the 60s. When he went out into the field, he met a different style of yajna. And Gurudev, having such a keen eye for society, having such a keen eye for humanity, and also the great visionary that he was, he realized that certain things will not work. And so there has to be change within Sanatana Dharma itself. There has to be change. And so all of the things I mentioned, the inclusion of women, the speaking in different, speaking in English itself to meet the wider world, and all the Vedanta classes and Sandipani sadhanas and training young educated people to take this potent knowledge, all the various things was all because of his great visionary skill. There is no Mahatma in our time that has such a great vision, could tell exactly what will be the needs of the world, what will be the needs of Sanatana Dharma in the coming years. And with that vision, he went about putting a program to make sure that this Sanatana Dharma is protected, it is perpetuated, it is spread, and it is made available to all and sundry across the whole globe. All of this in defense of Sanatana Dharma. And you will see that there is not a single thing from within the Dharma itself that he repudiated. Oh, this was not proper, that is not proper. It is just, there's no such thing that he'll say, this is not proper in Sanatana Dharma, or that is not proper in Sanatana Dharma. It is just that the great rishis of yore, they put it in there. And then we have been the ones who have not made proper study of it, made proper sense of it, utilized it properly. And Gurudev showed the way how to utilize every precept, every concept that the rishis bequeathed to all of us. And like I said, there is, see, even if you compare, like let's just do, not that we should go on comparing like that, but you will see Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi, for instance, a saint of a different type, right? So Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi's teachings is within certain parameters. He talks about the self, he talks about Brahman, and he talks about that. But to translate the teachings of Sanatana Dharma into socio-cultural things like Puja Gurudev did, that part of his teaching is not there. He did not pay or he did not give much importance to that type of thing. But Puja Gurudev, while at the same time teaching Sanatana Dharma at its deepest level of ekatvam and all of that, at the same time, he is making a strong effort to make sure that at the socio-cultural level, social and cultural level, Sanatana Dharma is perpetuated and protected. Therefore, the Bal Vihar, therefore the Devi groups, therefore all the various programs that he put in place, which for Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi, that different type of saint did not really mean much, you see. But that's why I said today that Gurudev is one of those Mahatmas who made a strong case for Sanatan Dharma, Hinduism, in all its varied facets, in all varied, what we call philosophical teachings. He is one of those rare persons who have done that thing. And the first time, it is not that this was not done before. The first time this was done was by the great Swamy Vivekananda Ji Maharaj, who had come to the West. And if you study the teachings of Swami Vivekananda ji and all of his lectures, you will realize that Puja Gurudev and Swami Vivekananda ji are quite similar. These are very rare saints that come along and take the whole breadth of Hinduism, Sanatan Dharma, and treat every aspect of it with such dignity and such wonderful spirit that they make sure that it is perpetuated, protected and perpetuated like that. Okay, so now I think that if we study Gurudev's teaching of Vedanta, we study his Kindle life, we study his Upanishads, means commentary on Upanishads, and the great work that he has done in Dakshinamurti Stotram and all that, we'll see his philosophical depth of the Upanishads in all of these texts. But we should not forget that he was a very staunch, strong Hindu who really cared about this Sanatan Dharma. And so his whole mission is in some way tied to perpetuating Sanatan Dharma, or making his contribution to make sure Sanatan Dharma is given its rightful place. He also, while doing it, never ever had the cause to say anything bad about any other person's dharma. And what a wonderful thing. In that, if you read those two things together, his defense of Sanatan Dharma and never saying anything bad about any other person's dharma, when you put these two together, what we end up with is a most wonderful conclusion, and that is Gurudev felt and taught to all of us that Sanatan Dharma is complete, it is self-sufficient, it doesn't need any other dharma, or it doesn't need any other thing to complete it or to support it or anything. Within itself, it is complete, and it is independent. And so it is these type of wonderful teachings that he opened our eyes to. We don't need validation from anybody else. Sanatana Dharma contains everything that we need all by ourselves, you see. So the fact that he, a modern educated person, took to Sanatana Dharma and defended every precept of Sanatana Dharma is itself testimony to the fact that Sanatana Dharma is complete and Sanatana Dharma is self-sufficient. It doesn't need any other thing. All right. Okay. I think I have covered a lot of topics today. You will see, if you reflect on his life and his teachings and his works and his lectures and all of that, you will see that he was a perfect defender of Sanatan Dharma, and he would have done anything to make sure that it is perpetuated. All right. I think that is all I have to say today. If there is anything anybody wants to ask and then add, and so we can also have the other part of the program now.
Thank you, Swamiji. That was very wonderful. You have kind of summarized Gurudev's contribution on this dharma aspect, protecting and perpetuating dharma aspect. Very beautiful. When a reporter asked Gurudev, I remember reading in one of the places, when somebody asked, what is your mission? Are you proselytizing, when he came to West? And he said, no, I'm not proselytizing. I'm awakening Hindus to Hinduism.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that was a very apt response. Also, the commentary or the foreword that he wrote for the Ishavasya Upanishad is wonderful. That kind of stands by itself, and you have very beautifully summarized, Swamiji, the mission, and he was considered as Dayan of Hinduism. After Swami Vivekananda, we saw him as coming out as in protecting and perpetuating, bringing Hinduism to English-speaking audience that was under the influence of Marxist or other non-religious entities. So he
Yeah.
kind of awakened Hindus definitely. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Swamiji.
My
Can I request if you are okay for a small bhajan? I know your bhajans are very popular in all the sessions. Any sankirtan for a few minutes would be great. We do have some minute time.
yeah. All right. I will just chant a little, uh, just small kirtan. Um, Maybe if you all want, you can follow also along. Radhe 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 Govind. Radhe 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 Govind. Radhe 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 Govinda. 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 Krishna Mukunda Bala Govinda. Krishna Kanaya Lal Ki Jai.
Thank you, Swamiji. That was very melodious. And the good news is Swamiji is going to be in Mahasamadhi camp in New Jersey in July. So please register if you have not. That's a wonderful once in a year opportunity for all of us to connect to Gurudev's teachings and connect to all the Swamiji's like